Quick live. A reflective man is an enlightened man. So I just finished doing some hard work. I did a cycle of 4 minutes of step-ups, weighted 30-pound vest, then 1 minute where I have 5 strict pull-ups, 10 strict dips with the vest on. Did that for an hour, cycled that through 12 rounds. And I'm thinking about the more I reflect. Now, I'm definitely not enlightened, let me just say that. But the more that I reflect on my life and the more that I think about who I am and the more I become into contact with the parts of me that I often can't see, I become wiser in my world, right? I become not enlightened, but I become lighter in my field of thinking and being. I start to understand myself in ways I have never understood myself before because I'm making the time to think. I'm making the time to feel. I'm creating space in my day, which is sometimes super compressed, to just be and reflect on the way that I've thought, the way that I've been, the way that I've behaved, the way that I've reacted. Could I have responded differently to an argument or a conflict? Am I judging others? Am I judging myself? Am I being really critical? And so when I give myself the space to think about who I am, I become wiser. I get to know myself a little deeper, and then I bring that into the world. When I bring that into the world, I bring a greater version of me into my relationships. I'm able to see others in a different light. Again, maybe less judgment, less critical, less of a critical lens because I'm not so harsh on myself, because I'm giving myself an opportunity to know who I am. So a reflective man becomes an enlightened man. And in a world where we need reflective men, we need wiser men, we need more grounded men, we need people, we need humans that can critically think and feel and that aren't so reactive to life. I've spent so much of my life being so reactive and just fighting and being in defense and putting the armor up on and over my heart. And it has damaged relationships, and it has given me a very lower level view of myself and of others. I haven't been able to trust others because I'm not reflecting on who I am and what do I really require to trust others. How do I want to give and receive love? How do I want to see myself in the face of someone else? What are my greatest fears? What am I avoiding in life? When we don't reflect, we don't know, and we come from unconscious wounds and patterns. Turn it around. I'm going to walk back home. And when we come from these unconscious wounds and patterns, we just bring more of that pain into the world and more of that pain into our relationships. And all of those around us suffer. So when I say a reflective man is an enlightened man, I really mean that. And I mean the journey and the process, right? I don't mean that the moment you start thinking about yourself and you start thinking about life in healthier ways and who you are and who you could be and who you've been and what you're holding on to and what you're not releasing and what's really ailing you and hurting you still and you're projecting that on others. I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about when you create the space to think about yourself in a more holistic way. And this has just been my experience. When I do that, I'm simply a more pleasant person to be around. And I also make decisions that are in my better interest, that yield me greater abundance, that yield me greater critical reflections from intimate relationships. I'm able to be more open and intimate and loving in my relationships. I'm able to get more from my relationships. I'm able to give more. I'm able to receive more with an open heart. And that is the process, to me, of moving towards enlightenment. If enlightenment is a thing that we need to achieve or we get to embody and embrace, then moving towards that higher yielding state of being in the world, I think there's something to be said for that, particularly with respect to the world that we live in now. And uniting, being in a deeper sense of unity, consciousness, comes from knowing self. Because when we know ourselves deeper, we're less fearful in the world. That's been very true for me as well. I'm less scared, less reactive, less defensive, less protective. You know, I had an argument with a friend not that long ago. And there were some unconscious projections there from him to me and me to him. And what I noticed was one of the reasons why I was getting so charged, and I've been reflecting on this, been thinking about it, was because he was unconsciously projecting some really big things on me. And I was feeling like I was experiencing a great deal of pressure. And the unconscious association that I had made was with, that's what my mother and father would do to me. As a child, they would put a lot of pressure on me. I grew up very young, emotional enmeshment, entanglement, and parentification. And I felt a great deal of responsibility as a young child and as a young boy. And I felt that he, or this man, I perceived him to be doing that to me. And that he was projecting on me, and that's why I was so resistant, and I was defensive and protective and being hyper in my behavior with him. And I just realized that because I've been reflecting on it. So it's enlightened me. The process of reflection and thinking and feeling into myself and into my life has enlightened me. Am I enlightened? No, that's not the point. It's the process, the journey of enlightenment, of greater awareness, of greater wisdom and depth of self that you can then bring to the world. I think that's it. I'm done. Thank you, beautiful people. Spread some love today. Do some inner work. Get to know yourself a little deeper. Get to love yourself a little deeper. I'll see you again soon.